So this is the last slide, just a quick summary, just to tell us that for the field trip, we have three parts. The part one of it is a 45-minute section, and that will include starting from the present day observations, drone and video captures for selected locations to show lagoon and marsh, tidal inlets and surrounding environments, as well as the shore face and foreshore sub-environments. So we have, short clips which kind of shows not just the drone captures but also video captures and some very quick geoscience intro into the sub-environments. The part two of it is the next phase where we'll now move on to looking at ancient sedimentary successions taken from the Nanka formation. And like I said earlier on, the point of visitation is the Umunya outcrop, which Professor Nwajide has, taken a very detailed look at. We did a drone capture of it, and also he did a very detailed fascist by fascist description of the different, sections of that outcrop. So that's the part two of it, and then we'll take discussions and questions, and then we'll progress to the part three where we're like putting everything together to say, okay, what have we learned from the present to the past, and how does what we've seen, how does it impact our knowledge or our ability to properly manage reservoirs as we know it today, as we do today in the business, okay? So that part will also include data integration. We're going to be doing some kind of geobody analysis for people to better figure out in a 3D sense, what do I expect a tidal bar to look like, a lagoon deposit, and then we're also going to look at 2D, 1D and 2D data sets, logs and calls, which again, we've had the sponsors who supported us with that. So there are clips that have been pre-recorded or that are being pre-recorded for these sections. And we're going to have the last part will be a short virtual exercise. That's some kind of hands-on for participants to individually, just to test our learnings and, to put a closure to the whole discussion. So that's basically the virtual, field trip for this for the conference this year. It's our first time. We're still learning the process. We're still evolving, and hopefully it's going to be a swell time when we get on board. So thank you. That's what I have. I hope I didn't exceed 3 minutes.
No. Thank you very much, Dr. Obi. This is pretty insightful. We'll take questions if there are any from the participants. We have a couple of participants out there. And if there isn't any right now, we will proceed. Okay. So far, we haven't gotten any questions yet. Okay. So without much ado, I think we should just move to the next step. All right. Thank you, Dr. Obi. Please be on standby in case questions come up.
Definitely.
Eventually.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a packed event. We want to try to keep to our time. So next we'll be bringing on Lawrence Ali. Lawrence will literally be kickstarting our special events section. Lawrence, are you there? Can you hear me, Lawrence?
Yes, I'm here if you can hear me, yes.
Okay, can hear you loud and clear, but we can't see you. We'd like to see you also, if you don't mind.
So my video, okay. I am sharing my screen actually.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, okay. It says, for some reason it says I cannot start my video because the host has stopped it.
Okay. And what about now?
Okay, let me try now. Yes, my video is on.
Okay.
Confirm.
All right, okay. We can see you. Okay. All right, over to you, sir.
I'll go ahead. Yes, thank you, Public Secretary. And thanks everyone for joining. My name is Lawrence Ali, and on behalf of the pre-conference workshop planning subcommittee, we want to share the details of the first virtual pre-conference workshop to you. We believe that this will be a very insightful pre-conference workshop. On here, I'm showing the first of all the date of the workshop, and I'll show you what it looks like again on the agenda in a bit. And then we'll walk through the speakers, the topics, the panelists, moderator, and then the again talk about the actual schedule on the day. But the key, one of the key messages I want to pass here is that the main goal is to package industry expertise and perspective, very informed ones, so that we can influence oil and gas related policies in Nigeria. So that's the main driver for this pre-conference workshop. And you will see, in our method of selecting, nominating speakers, panelists, it was to achieve this goal. Okay. So briefly, the schedule has been shared earlier, I think when the PE was speaking, and I basically boxed out the pre-conference workshop so that you can't miss it. This will be on Monday again, November 16th. It starts at 9 a.m. We should be done just before 2 p.m. In terms of the actual participants, key participants at the workshop, here's the nomination list. These are the folks who are working with to come in. As I earlier stated, we're looking for industry expertise and informed perspective. So this should be coming from people that have experience and practice in the oil and gas industry or related industries. First of all, if you notice here, I put in the main conference theme, right, which is around how we accelerate Nigeria's hydrocarbon reserves. And one of the levers we thought that can do that is managing cost. So the pre-conference workshop itself is focused more on the cost end of things. I don't think that should surprise many folks, especially in the current condition of depressed oil price due to the demand shock, that started with the COVID-19 situation. So the keynote speaker here, you can see, I'm not going to walk through all the names, but he will be talking about the levers for how to reduce cost optimally in oil and gas production. Okay, and then of course the ongoing PIB or whatever form it will take will also feature. I think this one is a very critical one. Everybody is waiting to see what's going to come out of the latest efforts by the government to pass the PIB. Because of the way it is evolving, we figured that we may be talking about what PIB should look like, or we may be talking about what is the impact of what has been passed. So this one is a fluid topic. There's also an opportunity to look at the inland basin, and this is coming from no one but the Frontier and Exploration Service of NNPC, so the GGM himself. Of course, the whole conversation around how do we achieve a $10 per barrel oil cost, unit cost in Nigeria. So again, NAPIM's GGM would lead this. And then other industry leaders, you can see the names and titles here, would be talking about joint industry operations and shared services, local content participation, and how to fast track gas to power, cheaply, for want of a better word. And again, like I said, these are industry leaders. So we believe that the outcome of this will give us the opportunity to influence policies in the oil and gas and even bigger, related industries in Nigeria. So the way it works is once these presentations are made, a communique is actually issued from NAPE, and that communique will have the details of this, these insightful conversations. So after the 7 or so speakers are done, there will be a panel conversation, and we've selected key experienced folks to actually break down the conversation that has been kickstarted by the speakers. What are the implications? What are other aspects that we should be thinking about? How can someone that listens walk away, with insights that they can actually apply either in their business or other ventures they're into. Okay, and we have Latif, who's going to be our moderator too. So these are really good folks. I think you should be excited about getting involved in this. So I know the next thing you'll be wondering is, how long will all of this take? And that's what the next slide is really about. So, I earlier stated it was going to start at 9 and finish around just before 2 p.m. So we're looking at about over 4 hours in total, with breaks in between. The first 15 minutes is to introduce um, the chairman, the keynote speaker, the panelists, the moderator, basically everyone, a short citation for each. There'll be an opening address by the president. And then, of course, the keynote speech will, kick off at 9:30. So it will be from 9:30 up until about 11. We'll be getting the good stuff, the good information from the speakers. There'll be a 10 minutes break by 11. Again, presentations again until 1:10. Then we'll break. We actually break for lunch. So I think there's a little bit of mix up here, but yeah. So the lunch break will be from 1:10. Okay, so there'll be a lunch break, and then there'll be a 1 hour or 45 minutes moderated panel session. So we'll just get this fixed up. But there'll be a 30 minutes lunch somewhere in there, and then we'll break for the day. So that's really the content of the pre-conference workshop. And again, this is all virtual, so you're gonna log in, you'll have the opportunity to actually take breaks in between talks, but we also put in breaks there to help reduce the fatigue of sitting and screening at your screen for a long period. So if there are questions, I can take them now, or I can take them later.
Okay, for now there are no questions for now. I think you've provided everybody the insight. Thank you very much, Mr. Ali, for what you've shared so far. It is clear that this is going to be a very powerful event. From talking about cost-cutting opportunities, both in oil and gas production, to the potential feasibility of the $10 per barrel crude oil production focus, and then inland basins, frontier exploration conversation driven by the GGM of FES himself for NNPC. This looks like a very powerful event that I'm sure anybody in the industry will be interested in participating in. One thing that will be important to share with everyone is that as long as you're an eligible member of the conference and you've registered for the conference, you would have access to this event. You also have access to the recording of this event. So right now we are all working in the virtual space, and what that means is that the construct of time has changed, and then invariably being in the virtual space, it enables you to participate in things in real time, or you record them and come back at a time that's most convenient for you to participate in. Whichever works for you, I believe this event will definitely provide the value that it promises. Again, thank you, Mr. Lawrence Ali, and we'll move to the next individual. This person doesn't really need any introduction. He is Dr. Christopher Jackson. He's currently our editor-in-chief at NAPE. Dr. Chris, are you there? Hello, Dr. Chris, can you hear me? Okay. Dr. Chris Jackson?
Hello, Latif.
Yes. We can hear you now.
Hello, Mr. Latif. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can. Just go ahead and do that. We are all waiting for you right now. So just to add to the conversation, Dr. Christopher Jackson is a world-renowned presenter. He has won several awards across the globe. He currently heads our editorial board at NAPE, and he'll be sharing with us technical programs for the conference. Under his portfolio will be the short courses, the actual technical presentations, the special presentations. So providing insight into all of this, and this is a big aspect of our conference. Without him, there's probably no conference. So Dr. Chris, over to you.
Okay, just one.
Okay. So
So sorry about that. I was actually using my phone previously. So I just tried to switch to my system. So very sorry about that.
No problem, sir.
Just a minute. Let me share my screen.
Okay, sir. Okay. Well, while Dr. Chris is sharing his screen, it will also be important to note that amongst the session in which he'll be chairing includes geophysics. There'll be technical sessions which will cut across different technical topics from geophysics to integrated reservoir modeling, artificial intelligence, data analytics, sequence stratigraphy, even looking at surface things like risk, geochemistry, biostratigraphy, operations geology. So for 2 days, there will be at least 4 parallel sessions of 3 different papers going on simultaneously. In addition to that, we should have a lead paper and a special paper, and there will also be concurrently poster sessions, also running across different topics from base analysis to emerging technology. In that space also, we will also be focusing on things around the transformation of what we understand as energy right now. Globally, we do consume about 101 or 102 million barrels of crude oil, but we cannot argue the changes in the energy dynamics where unconventionals and renewable energies are coming to play in the energy scope. So there will also be conversations around that. Dr. Chris, are you still there? Okay. Dr. Chris? Okay. I think we may have to make a quick change. All right. Maybe what we'll do is we'll make a quick change and answer a question while Dr. Chris is trying to set up. So, okay, so I have 2 questions which I would like. One is for Dr. Ifeanyi Obi, the other is for Lawrence and Lee. Can I get you guys to share your videos while we attend to those questions? Is that okay, Lawrence and Dr. Obi?
Yeah, definitely, that's okay.
All right. And,
Okay.
All right. So the first one has to do with so this goes to the pre-conference chair. It's a very good and brief program. Thank you for sharing that. Is the lunch break a good idea? And the concern really is that when people leave the session, they may not return because of such a long break. What are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think it's a great question from Madam Ojelabi. The pre-conference workshop, the entire length is about 4 hours, 45 minutes. So we think it's a long time. It's a long duration for folks to sit in front of their machines and looking at and looking at their computers. That's the philosophy behind the breaks that we have in. So we have 2 tea breaks and then a lunch break. The lunch break itself is for 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes duration, and it comes after the 7 presentations are done. After it, then will be a 45 minutes panel discussion, and it's over. The pre-conference workshop is over. So the expectation, or the thought behind that is that it's enough to allow folks to recharge. However, it is not too long for folks to lose interest. So that's why it's set for 30 minutes. But the philosophy is that we don't want people to develop ergonomic issues, or sit in front of their screen and have glare issues, all those things that come with computer use, after almost 4 hours. So that's why that's the idea behind that. However, I can also state that the pre-conference workshop subcommittee is open to alternate ideas. Like I can see Mr. Jelabi just typed, is it possible to shorten the sessions? Currently, the sessions are 30 minutes for the keynote address and 20 minutes for the other speakers. So we thought that 20 minutes, is sufficient to get value out of the conversation, but not too long. However, it's a good suggestion. We'll go again and deliberate it with the team and see if there's a way we can do that. But in all fairness, we don't want to stop people from getting enough refreshments, So I'll leave it at that here, unless there are other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, there are several economic considerations which you are looking at after a prolonged and extensive session. But again, like you said, there is room for flexibility to update the program to ensure that the audience is captive throughout the event. All right, for you, Dr. Obi, so there's a hello, good afternoon. I'm joining a little late. When you say drone and video capture of this information, how accurate is the data, and what's the relevance of this technology to the industry? The name of the speaker is Mr. Anonymous for now. It's anonymous.
Yeah, right. It's okay. Fair enough. So just to respond to that, I'm trying to share the same screen I shared before. First of all, the drone captures, there are two. We're doing that on 2 scale. First of all, we have an aerial capture. For example, if you take a look at the up top left, the map you're seeing on the top left, the aerial capture, we're enabled to see this tidal inlet and how it links with the open ocean to the south and the adjoining environment, tidal bar, and then maybe tidal flat. You can actually, with aerial capture, you can see a little beyond that. That's one. There's also another way we do the drone capture, or rather the drone capture is done, because I'm not the drone capture expert. It's called a ground shot. So while the aerial capture will enable you to see in a bird's eye view of that sub-environment, the ground shot will enable you to see much closer features. For example, we have some ground shots around the beach environment, which typically you could say is foreshore, just to show you some of the waveforms and what we call swash and backswash processes. And even you'll be very, very amazed at how much of detail you will get, you actually will see from these drone captures. The way the sediments, how it actually comes towards the shore area, and then eventually how it's dispersed along the coastline following the longshore currents. So it's something you really need to, I think you should be part of it to really see this amazing amount of detail that we can get from both ground shot and aerial views using the drone captures. So responding to the question of how relevant is it? No, this is really important because we go to the outcrops and we see cross beds, reactivation surfaces, a bunch of sedimentary structures that the question is, what happened? How did this get here? Now, part of why we're starting from the Lagos coastline is so that you can actually see how these things happen. For example, if you're thinking tidal setting, you think of ebb, you think of flood, you think of high tide, you think of low tide, depending on what context you're looking at it. We actually got drone captures or video captures at both high tide and low tide, and it was very, very key, to show that in terms of tidal level, things were different. And we also went ahead to show you examples of how these processes actually impact on what we see. Like if you look at the bottom right, what we see, these tidal bundles, how what we saw in the coastline actually impacts on what we see down here in the outcrop. So at the end of the day, it's connected, and then linking it back to the industry. for those who are into reservoir management, reservoir geologists, and reservoir, modelers. We think of connectivity, we think of 3D architecture. How was the extent of this? If it's a tidal bar, if it's if it's a shore face sand, what is the geometry in 3D sense? And because you already have seen the picture, both on the coastline, and also we also have an analog video which will show you an actual outcrop that shows from shore face to estuarine to adjoining environments, so that both in the 3D sense of it you have a picture, and also at a higher order in terms of connectivity across what we call potential baffles or barriers. How do these things impact reservoir connectivity, reservoir heterogeneity, and even our ability to get out the hydrocarbon in there? How are things compartmentalized? How are things, in 3D sense, varying in their net to gross and average property? So, I mean, it's really important, starting from the field and then linking it back to what we see. Good thing we have core photos. We also have logs to add on to everything that we're going to be showing, both on outcrop and also on the area drone captures. I hope that's clear enough. So that's really the short response I have.
That's pretty extensive. I think you are tempted to start this conference before we start, and Dr. Obi.
Apologies.
Dr. Obi. We said it's not the. All right, Dr. Chris, are you there? Can you hear me loud and clear? Dr. Chris? Okay, I think Dr. Chris. Are you there, Dr. Chris?
Yes, I am.
Right, so I'll be sharing on your behalf, okay?
Yeah, please, maybe you go ahead.
Okay, all right. I think we can manage it that way, okay? All right, so
Hello, can you see my screen now?
no, can't see your screen now, but let me check. Can't see your screen right now.
Well, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm seeing your own screen, so I can actually go ahead with that.
Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see your screen.
That's okay. So let's do that. Okay. Give me a second. Let's want to put your stuff on slideshow mode. The presentation is trying to be lucid. Okay. All right, over to you, Doctor.
All right, thank you very much, Lateef, and very sincere apologies for the mix-up. It's a product of connection issues. I was trying to switch between phone and my device, and that took some time. So sharing my slide, I think, is a few slides, more slides than these. This is just a kind of highlight, but I think we'll just make do with this since I wasn't using my system. So at the moment, I'll be taking us through a few things around the technical sessions. And I think the PE has talked about the general program, so I won't be going into that again. Because of time, we'll be having, during the conference, we'll be running the oral and poster technical sessions. And like Lateef mentioned previously, you can see the presentation schedule and the entire technical program. Starting from the first, on Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be running 3 sessions of oral and 3 sessions for the posters. So for the oral session on Wednesday, we'll be having geophysics and all the subject area. Just I'm trying to manage the time. So you just go through it. And this program is actually the updated program for the conference. This will be published immediately after this webinar that we are having. We were trying to engage with all the committee heads to ensure that the time and all the programs we put in here are specifically what will be going into the conference. If you can see, there's no icebreaker. Some of the times have been adjusted. So for the technical presentation, we have given out the presentation templates to all the presenters, and each session will be running. For instance, if you start with the geophysics, each presentation takes about 30 minutes. And for the 30 minutes, full time for the presenter will be 20 minutes, 5 minutes for question and answer, and we preserve the other 5 minutes strictly for changeover. I understand, I think somebody just asked, given the maybe network or IT technicalities, just observe when I was trying to share my slide, what will we do? The idea is that it's a virtual conference, so we'll be having IT support, and everybody will be presenting just like a webinar. I just want to mention that the sessions will be going via Zoom, and the Zoom session will be linked to the online conference platform. So on the platform, you can connect to the Zoom, or you can navigate through the platform. So for the poster session, we've shared the templates also to all the presenters. So the poster is only a single poster, only a single poster. We'll be having a kind of backup plan, just the way we are doing now, that I had to send my presentations. We have some strict deadline. Latif, next slide, please. Okay, thank you very much. So we have a few deadlines, and we want to appeal to all the presenters to try and adhere to these deadlines. They are actually extended. A lot of them, we extended them by about 2 weeks from the upper week. So 25th of October, we are expecting all the full papers and oral presentation slides and the poster slides and brief citation of the presenter or the lead author by ending of this month. Then the presentation schedule for each presenter will be published on the 26th. That was a timeline, so from Monday next week. So, well, I will maybe like to take our questions, but one of the things I want to mention again is, please, no presentation template will be accepted outside the ones we shared with all the presenters. And like I saw, I think the pre-conference workshop committee using the templates, please let's ensure that the template has the first page, which is strictly just has to be used the way it is. Only the title of the presentation and the presenter and the affiliation. Then from the next page, you can put in your presentation outline, your data, results, workflow, discussion, recommendations, or what have you, whatever, down to the last slides. We have that already sent to all the presenters. So I'd like to take any questions. I know we will have so much questions at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chris Jackson. So the first question, I think you've addressed it, which had to do, but let me just have to ask you the question. Although the question is also addressed to the conference chair, I'll ask you the question because it also mentions you. And all right, so the first question is, Given what's just happened right now, how do you think mitigation plans that are put in place to address what has just happened as regards sharing of your content? So I think you mentioned something about.
All right. Yeah, let me elucidate on that again. What we just have to understand is number one, this is a virtual conference, so IT support is key. Data and internet is key. And we have to prepare, number one, prepare ahead of time. In the next 2 weeks, we'll be having dry run to allow some selected presenters, test run how the online presentation will go, how the co-chair and the session chair and the judges will be running the sessions, and how questions and answers will be addressed. We will handle that. But just to, in case there is network issue from the side of the presenter, what we will do is we already have the presentation slides, just like this one. The slide shared now was sent ahead of time. It's not my own slide, is more comprehensive, than this. This is just a few things just to highlight. So the slides you've sent to us, we will share it during that period. We can send it for the oral presentation. However, for the poster presentation, what we have planned is we've communicated already to the presenters is that there will be a voice-over recording on the poster, as a backup plan. There will be actually live presentation in case of necessity or for any reason. We can play that during the period of that presentation. I know some of these issues will be coming up. People will have issues with network, data, and what have you. That's a reality. So that's what we are planning. For the oral presentation, if the presenter is not there, we can, put the presentation will be there in the room, in the room created on the platform. So you can navigate through the presentation during that time of the presentation alone. Then after that, we will be moving to another presenter. And what we will actually not do is saying, oh, no, this presenter is not around, can we call somebody else? Just because of the presentation schedule, we will assume it's a kind of no-show. If we know directly we've engaged with you and you are struggling with anything, we can help run the slides here around the time and just manage the situation. That's what we are planning. And we know that from our back end, there will be good IT support, there will be good internet, and there will be good IT personnel to support and to answer any question and to give assistance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Additionally, final question for now. Is there a limit? Mr. Malik Adebayo is asking, is there a limit to the number of slides for the oral presentation?
Okay, a good question also. Well, we will not say that you have to submit or come with 5 slides or 10 slides or 20 slides. What we have defined that is very important is the timing. People have different presentation styles. So the timing for full presentation from start to end is 20 minutes. So that 20 minutes, some people can do 1 minute per slide, that's 20 slides. Some people can do more than 20. Some people will need less than 20 slides. Some people can run 30 to 35 slides, depending on how, by experience, they've arranged themselves on what they want to talk about. So we don't have strict number, but that is the timing, and we will not exceed 20 minutes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, as usual, Dr. Chris. Now we're going to go to exhibition. Do we have Didi? Didi, are you there? The exhibition chair. This is Didi on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Please feel free to share your content.
Okay, okay. Just give me a second.
No problem. So as we speak, several events have occurred globally that has leverage on online and digital technology. We've had symposiums.
Oh, let me share my screen.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So we've had several events globally that has leverage on different types of digital, online, and related technologies. But what we're trying to do at NAPE is to bring together the entire gamut. So it's not just a technical presentation or a webinar or a seminar. We want to combine all these various platforms to have a full form conference and exhibition. And this is literally quite novel right now. And with what we have put together, we believe we will be showcasing and NAPE in the best of lights. Okay, I see you started sharing. We definitely can see your desktop.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
All right. Are you going to be sharing your video?
No.
Okay. Over to you.
All right, thank you. So, good afternoon, everybody. Apologies, I have a cold, so my voice is not particularly clear, but please do let me know if you can't hear me, and I will try to increase my increase the loudness or whatever it is. So, welcome to what I have to show you with respect to our exhibition committee. This year, yeah, it's everything is I mentioned before. We initially started obtaining reservations using the floor plan that we usually use at Eco Hotel. But after conversations with the developer who is developing the entire website with this as a plugin, we have updated that. One, we reduced the number of booths from 60 to 20. We also changed the layout, and we've also reduced the packages to just gold and silver. What has happened? What now? The gold plan involves basically, because it is a virtual event, is not really about the size or the placement on a floor plan as would be key in a physical event. What is key here is actually like the number of posters you can afford to have at your booth. Now, some of the key features that we are able to provide in this particular case is that there is guaranteed data privacy. There are strict enterprise security is going to be used. Therefore, the content is secure because it's being used via HTTPS. High resolution graphics, great booth architecture. I'll show you examples of the models we will be using. We have already said this on other occasions that is substantial cost savings when you consider the fact that you would have had to, beyond pay for a booth space, you would have had to construct your booth space, you would have had to have physical bodies in the space, clothe them, food, souvenirs. This represents, in a lot of cases, a very massive cost savings for all exhibitors, why we were encouraging people to jump in on it. It presents unique advertising because in this particular case is online. So many people are able to come in. It's not in quotes as restrictive as a physical situation where you would have said, oh, students aren't allowed in at a certain time to maintain the peace, etc. So there's also the fact that you can capture a lot of data because everything is online, which affords you great data analysis of all the information that you gather. You're going to be able to talk with people online. You can either do video calls, text messages, voice chatting, even using this method. You allowed 3 staff, and if you want, you can double up on your booth and get double the benefits of what is being what one booth can give you. It will run quite largely like a physical one in that you'll be able to schedule events at your booth. You can have meetings. Some of the posters and stuff are actually clickable, so people can navigate to your booth. They can click, and you'll be able to see what is their presentations and stuff in real time. Now, these are the booth designs we chose. We chose one for the silver package, and then we took 2 designs for the gold package. So as I'd mentioned before, the silver package gets 3 posters, you get 5 documents, 5 images, 2 logos, 3 videos, and we had included a product board. Now, what the product board allows you to do is that you can display different things from your, so for example, I'd say like a Schlumberger wants to display some of like the wellheads and stuff like that. That's what you would do on your product board. You can showcase anything key that is not proprietary that you would like to share with others. The gold package, on the other hand, is 6 posters, 10 documents, 10 images, 4 logos, 5 videos. And as I'd mentioned before, if you want to double up, then you get double of these benefits. You're also allowed to upload your company profile. Most banners and posters, the resolutions have been provided as stated here to all the people that have subscribed. Now, basically, this is how the booth works. When you get to a booth in the virtual space, you're able to click on any of these icons and you're able to then communicate with somebody who is on the other end, the back end of it. The exhibitors will have admin rights into their own space. So it's safe. No exhibitor can get into another exhibitor's space. You're confined to your own space. But anything you want to do in your space, if you want to change out your documents after uploading, you will be able to do that. And you can control that space the way you want to. I, as a visitor to your space, can click on any of these items. I will show you exhibitor information. I can check out your products list. There will be the business cards of the people who are manning the booth, emails, poster contents, and etc. Now, next steps. Okay, I would like to say that we still do have some booths available. We have about 10 booths still available out of the 20. It is not too late to sign up, but it would be better to sign up this week. So we will be expecting to hear from some of you after this, hopefully. Now, the next steps are we're submitting the floor plan to the vendor. At the moment, I'm collating information with respect to what booth model the current exhibitors would be wanting to use. And then the business card information that will be loaded up, which is what you'll be able to use to interact with the personnel manning the booth, and the floor plan. Those will be submitted to the vendor by tomorrow unfailingly so that they can build the back end of the website. We're also collating other information from which are the posters and videos. Once all of these are uploaded, there will be an admin training. So that means the exhibition team will also be able to help to guide people in using the exhibition part of the website. That's what that will be about. Once that is done, we will then be able to communicate a date for the exhibitor training, where you will be shown how to handle your own section of the website. And then we expect to go live on the 15th, and it will run for 4 days. So thank you. I will be expecting questions then. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Breaking up. Is that from me?
ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Didi, I can hear you. I think Latif was having an
Okay,
issue.
it's Latif first. Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
First one. So we have one that
Okay. I think he's dropped off. Anyway, so the question I think he's referring to is when can we get the booth poster format so companies who are exhibiting can send across their content? If you check your email, that has been in your box since last night. So the format for your posters, the format for everything else has been provided for you yesterday evening.
Yes, Didi, there's another question for you from
Okay.
Fadekemi Ogunloye.
Okay.
And he wants to know when you'll be getting the booth, when they'll be getting the booth architecture options and the posters. Okay.
Sent it out last night. They should check their emails. If not, please send an email to the NAPE box and I will resend it to you. I sent it out yesterday.
Okay. Didi, you forgot to mention that part of the posters will be in the booth. So that will be a new experience for us.
Oh, yes. Thank you for
Didi, I just want to add, please, as you're going on with the engaging with the exhibitors, I sent a mail out, I think last week or a week, about exhibitors' profile.
Okay,
Please,
I'll send that to you today. I'll send that to you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Is Latif back?
It's like we have lost Latif for now.
Okay, so Tunde, you'll take over. All right, then. So thank you, everybody. And if there are any questions, please do email the exhibition email box and we will respond to you. Thank you.
Okay, so until Latif comes back on.
It's coming back now.
Okay, there were some questions about how to register. We have a conference website where you can actually go and make payments for what part of the conference you want to participate in. So the options that are to be paid for are things like the field trip that Dr. Obi described, the conference, and then the conference proper. The rates for the field trip, students are going to pay 1,500. Faculty, lecturers and faculty members are going to pay 5,000 naira, while industry professionals are going to pay 10,000 naira for the field trip, the virtual field trip that Dr. Ifeanyi described. Then for the conference itself, industry professionals are going to pay 20,000 naira. Faculty are paying 10,000 naira. Students are paying 5,000 naira. Non-member categories are paying 25,000 naira. And then there's a fee for international participants. So once you register, either on the platform, the way you normally pay to NAPE, or if you use like a different method, you have to send evidence of payment to NAPE. But we are encouraging everyone to go to the conference registration app and make your payment through there, because at that point, you are going to be able to provide information, your name, first name, last name, affiliation, category of NAPE membership, and your email address and your phone number. The critical thing for this year's conference is your email address, because before we go live, unique access codes will be generated for everyone that is registered, and that's what's going to take you into the conference app. There will be a unique access code, and I think it will provide a password. Please be aware that that code will be unique to you. So for example, when you get that code, you will not be able to log on to 2 devices at the same time. So like if you were here at the beginning of this talk, Dr. Chris said he was on one system and then he had to log on to another system. Without your unique code, you can only be on one system at a time. So for example, at the beginning of this call, I logged in first on my phone. I wasn't getting it. Then I logged in on my laptop. If it is for that event, I will have to log off with my phone and then log on onto my laptop. You can change devices, but you cannot be on 2 devices. Neither can those passcodes be shared with anybody. It is unique to the individual that registered. Okay. I see a question here about controlling phishing and traffic during the conference. Why we took this route is that this will be a closed portal to NAPE. Just like this, our Zoom platform now, there are different kinds of Zoom packages. This our Zoom package is upgraded such that we do not have those problems.
You can still share whatever you want to share. You are a panelist.
Is that for me, Patricia? Sunday, were you talking to Patricia? All right. With that, I think the next person who's supposed to speak is general information, and I think I've taken part of that.
All right. Sorry about that.
Hello, Peggy. I think one of the things you missed out is a registration for short courses.
Oh, I'm so sorry, my bad.
Yeah, 2 short courses this year, so you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
So sorry about that. We have 2 short courses this year. The information about them are on our website. But Chris, please talk more about them. I don't have that information of it.
Okay, and let me just share my screen very quickly, if I can. I'm the host. Can somebody make me the host? Let me just share the screen. 1 minute.
You don't need to be the host. Just share your screen.
I'm going through.
Before you come on, somebody asked about certificates. Somebody asked about certificate to participants. We only give certificates to people who attend the pre-conference schools. We do not give certificates to people who attend the conference. Ali Ubelo, I hope that answers your question. Okay, Chris, back to you, Dr. Chris.
All right, thank you. Let me continue from where you just stopped at the PE. We'll also be having certificates issued to presenters of technical papers. For this year, because it's a virtual event, we'll be doing only soft copies of the certificate. So we'll send it directly to your email address, which I have all of them with me, the contact details of all the presenters with me. You just send it directly to your email box. For the short courses, this year we'll be having 2 of them. The first is a practical approach on fossil and risk analysis by the facilitator is Lisehi from Ajib. And the second one is around jaw pressure prediction by Dr. Bart from SPDC. So we implore that please, you try and register for these courses. It will be running from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday via Zoom. So the unique code will also be sent to all the registrants, and it promises to be very interesting as usual. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Chris. I think we hand over back to the President-elect and the chairperson for the Conference Planning Committee to continue to take some of the general questions. She's clearly answered most of them. Malik is asking a question. Hope there will be benefits in form of winning and prizes in the virtual conference, just as in the physical conference. I think, P, that's over to you.
We had not given, I have unmuted myself, thank you. We had not given thought about to that because of the challenges that will be associated with delivering those prizes. But I want to believe that the exhibitors, yes, the exhibitors have a plan for some things, maybe ebooks and stuff like that, that would be coming your way. So please, when you go to those booths, be as interactive as possible. And now that this question has come up, we have not foreclosed it. I will think about it. But just that our big constraint this year is funding. Funding is a big challenge for us this year. So if we find a sponsor who would take that up, we will be very, very happy to pursue it. But for now, that will be my answer.
Okay. Let's see. We have Mr. Reginald who's raised his hands. Mr. Reginald, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mr. Reginald had a question about network issue coming from NAPE angle, and if we have more than one internet provider. Okay. The short answer to that is that yes, we would have more than one. We will have a backup. But just to give you assurance, we have what's it called? It's IPNX into the secretariat, and we will use their services to the fullest.
Okay. So just to add to that, so while this program was going on, I was bumped out because my ISP was cut off, but the event did not stop. And the event did not stop because we had put the appropriate contingencies in place to ensure that, irrespective of whoever the host is, the program still continues. We will fine-tune this type of contingencies to ensure that it's even much smoother. Even in the physical conference, there are logistical challenges. The virtual conference is not immune to those challenges. Exactly. It's all about our state of readiness and preparedness. And the team led by the president-elect is quite dogged, putting a lot of man hours into ensuring that the safeguards are in place and the contingencies have backup, and the backup have even more backups and mitigating plans. So hopefully that's so it's a valid risk, and we are very, very prepared for that risk. I don't know if there are additional questions. Okay. Okay, John Bosco is asking, would there be an award night? Over to you, my P.
John Bosco, good afternoon. Yes, there will be an award night. Right now, the plan is to have it virtual, but as of today, I've had some exploratory discussions with some people. So, but there will be an awards night because every year we have service awards, we have fellowship awards, we have Noella awards, we also have the Arrett Adams awards. So there will be an awards night. For now, we're planning it to be a virtual event, but it could change.
Okay, just to add to that, my president-elect is on the line. Maybe you want to add one or two as the coordinator of the awards night.
No, that's the vice president.
Sorry, the vice president. Thank you. Mr. Biodun, are you there? Okay. Mr. Gujobi, are you there? Okay. Asking you to unmute. Okay. All right. I believe you would. Oh, okay. So I think maybe having some challenges there, but if it comes up, that's fine. And what other questions do we have? All right. So the last question we have is group sponsorship for virtual field trip possible? But with list of candidates, their email and telephone numbers. Most students.
I'll take that. Yes, okay. Very possible. So there have been people who have sponsored 10 students, 5 students, 50 students, or somewhere in between. The only thing the sponsor needs to be sure is that either they know the people and they send their email addresses, or you work with the UAP chairman. I don't think it's on this call. Like if you don't know who the schools you want to support or the people you want to support, or if you have the HOD of the school you want to support and things like that. But yes, the short answer is that sponsorship is possible. It has been happening. We have about 5 to 10 individuals that have done that in different numbers.
All right. So I think at this point, we've taken more than an hour of questions and answers. We've shared a lot of information around what to expect for the conference. Of course, there's more. We can't let the cat out of the bag. There's a question here that just sneaked in. 2 sneaking questions. Is there a deadline for registration? And then, Mr. Well, wow. Is sponsoring
55 people.
5. Yes, you can. In fact, we can encourage you to sponsor some more. As long as we have names, emails, we can do whatever you said. Is that accurate, my chair? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Right. So at this point, we would like to invite the president, who is the general overseer of all these activities that we're putting together. Want to say something, my PE?
Yes, there's still one more question. Kalisto Zanele wants to know if there's a deadline for all the registrations. So I will also take that. Yes.
Okay,
really, the earlier people register, the better, because all those information has to be collated and sent to the app developer who will create the unique access codes. So if you are able to register on time, say by the end of this month, the first week in November, if it's all done, and then it's an international company, they're in a different time zone. So it will just help us with our planning and in our efficiency. I mean, the app developer is an international company in a very different time zone. They're about 4 or 5 hours ahead of us. So it will help us a lot if we get all the information sooner rather than later. And with this, I yield to Latif. Thank you.
All right, my president-elect and chairperson for the conference planning committee, Mrs. Patricia Ochogbu, fellow of NAPE. A quick recap. We've had an insight into our virtual field trip, and you've seen the kind of work we're talking about, how we'll be looking at the coastal shorelines and the processes from Lagos going all the way to Central.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, that's going to be an exciting event that you shouldn't miss. We've also had a sneak peek into the pre-conference workshop, where leaders of industry and thoughts will be sharing different things around how do we effectively and cost-effectively produce hydrocarbon within the constraints of the pressures of the business and operational environment, overlain by the pressures of the pandemic. We'll also be in that same program, we're looking at the new target of $10 per barrel. Is it feasible? How do we get there? The GGMFES will also be giving us an insight into what is going on exploration-wise on the inland basin. In addition to the Niger Delta, what are those opportunities that are being pursued? Our eminent Dr. Chris Jackson shared a special program from short courses to technical programs, all the way to the poster sessions. It's a parallel session that will be unparalleled in the oil and gas industry. Before we now talk about the beautiful exhibition, even though it's in the virtual space, it's clearly packed full. We'll have multiple virtual rooms where you can visit your best brands and get to see the best of technology. And we'll have our exhibition halls in there. Contemporaneously or simultaneously, we'll also have our auditoriums where a special event will be held. So you come in there in a very secured environment. Security is critical in the internet world, in the online world. People's information will be kept very secured, and that's why, as the President-elect has said, you all have unique IDs to participate in this event. And finally, it's not just about technical and exhibition. We have management session, we have the opening ceremony, we have big wigs in the industry. We'll be talking about the PIB in whatever fashion. That is just a sneak peek of what to expect. And all of this will be recorded. So once you log in and register for our conference, you'll have access to this and can populate your virtual libraries and physical libraries with a ton of information like you've never before. And you will have access to this for more than a month. So this promises to be a one-of-a-kind event. At this point, I yield to our president, Mr. Alex Nachitaka, the fellow of NAPE, and the chairman presiding over all of these great things. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, the PS, Lativa Modu, and the PE with the CPC team for a job well done for putting this together. Just before I give my final remarks, I want to just respond to some few things that have been mentioned. Registration, we left out words of encouragement for us, the participants at this meeting, especially those of us in the industry. We know what our lecturers and alma mater members are going through in the various campuses. It's no longer a thing of secret. As the president of NAPE in office, under whose all these challenges are going through in the universities, I have been championing this, and I will continue to mention it. It is our duty to support, if not any other person around, to get back to our various departments, get our lecturers registered for this conference. It's a historical event. It's going to be memorable. We need to get back to our alma mater. The people that train us to be where we are today cannot afford to miss this conference because of challenges on the campuses. We need to register students in our various departments. If you can't go to any other school, go back to that department that train you to be where you are today. And pick some students, pick some lecturers, get them registered for this conference. As the president of NAPE, I have to start from the front. I have to lead from the front. I'm taking about 50 students of ABU to the pre-conference field trip. I'm taking about 10 lecturers from my department to attend this conference. And I'll be taking about 10 students to attend this conference under my sponsorship. I want to encourage us. It will not affect you in any way. It will create joy on the various campuses, and your departments will never forget you. Please, as we get over this lockdown period, I want us to reflect on this and aggressively consider it, and let this be an annual event. The only way you can pay back that department that trained you to be where you are or who you are today is to go back, pick them to the conference, and it will do a lot in encouraging people and getting them out of depression, and a sign of appreciation for the investment they have put in us. I want to also appreciate each and every one for making time to be at this meeting, especially the CPC members, the distinguished members of our BOT and Advisory Council. I saw some in the meeting, distinguished fellows and members of NAPE Think Tank Committee, respected professors, vice chancellors, and lecturers, people that have mentored us to be where we are today. We appreciate you and your time. I want to appreciate the YP leadership and the entire members that made time to be a part of this meeting. We are going ahead with our conference. It's going to be memorable. We are still going to continue to receive sponsorships up to the last minute. NAPE is not insolvent. NAPE is in a position to run its conferences, and we're trying our best to reposition NAPE so that NAPE will be financially independent in the near future. I thank each and every one for making time to be at this meeting. We will have many others before the conference. We are ready to make mistakes and learn from our mistakes, especially this being the first virtual conference to be organized by NAPE. I'm excited to be the president under whose tenure this is happening. I'm ready to give it every support. And I always want to quote the director and CEO of DPR. He said, if NAPE was a bird, NAPE is supposed to be an eagle. We've been able to weather the storm when so many associations are wondering what is going on. We continue to forge ahead, and we promise to deliver a world-class conference that will remain memorable to all participants locally and globally. Have a blessed day and a memorable week ahead. And please stay safe. God bless you.